Imagine stepping into ancient Rome, not as a tourist gawking at ruins, but as someone who actually lived there. You wake up, the city is already humming, and your first thought isn't, "I need coffee," it's, "I need the baths." You walk through streets where water flows in fountains on every corner, where dinner won't even start until the sun is low, and where a simple stroll under a covered walkway might change the course of your entire philosophy. These weren't luxuries. They were the operating system of a society that lasted 1,000 years. And somehow, almost all of it slipped away. Today I want to walk you, slowly and gently, through 15 of those lost practices. Things the Romans did every day that made life healthier, wiser, and honestly, more human. Some will surprise you. Some may make you a little angry that we ever stopped doing them. And the number one, well, I keep thinking about it when I look at my own street and just feel something is missing. Let's begin. Number 15. The public baths, or thermae. These weren't just places you rushed through. They were the heart of the city. You paid a quadrans, 1/4 of an as, basically pocket change, and the entire day was yours. You moved from the warm tepidarium to the scorching caldarium, then the frigidarium plunge that made you gasp and laugh at the same time. There were gardens with rose bushes and running water, libraries where people read out loud, lecture halls, gymnasia, snack bars selling honey cakes and spiced wine. Seneca grumbled about the noise, slapping of masseurs, sausage sellers yelling, the guy depilating with hot wax and dramatic screams, and wrote that the baths were too loud for thinking. But yet, he still went every day. By the 4th century, Rome had 11 major imperial bath complexes and over 800 smaller ones. A city of 1 million people kept clean, exercised, socially connected, and mentally restored in buildings we would call palaces today. We replaced them with Planet Fitness and Instagram mirrors. Imagine if we brought them back, not as luxury spas for the rich, but as true public spaces again. Quiet hours in the morning, social hours in the afternoon, kids' hours, seniors' hours. Saunas, cold plunges, reading rooms, no phones allowed. Places where loneliness simply can't survive. With cities that had real thermae, would we even have a need for antidepressants? 14. Vomitoriums. I know, it's a terrible name, but forget everything you might think you know. A vomitorium was an architectural feature, wide, radiating passageways that let enormous crowds pour out of amphitheaters in minutes. The Colosseum could empty 50,000 people faster than most modern stadiums can do 20,000. No bottlenecks, no crushing, no panic. Just calm, dignified movement. The misunderstanding comes from a satirical jab by Macrobius that people later took literally. The Romans didn't binge and purge, they binged and talked for 6 hours. The vomitorium was pure engineering kindness. We still haven't matched it. Look at any concert exit or Black Friday footage. We could fix that tomorrow if we wanted to. 13. The festivals of aqueduct maintenance. We don't have a specific name for their spring cleaning parties, but we know they happened. When the aqueducts were shut down for repairs, the city didn't complain. They celebrated. Workers became temporary heroes. There were parades, garlands, sacrifices to the nymphs of the springs. The people who kept the water flowing were honored like athletes. 11 aqueducts brought in something like 200 million gallons of water a day, enough for every person to have swimming pool quantities. And they kept those systems running, almost leak-free, for 500 years. Today, we treat municipal workers like they're invisible until the pipes burst. Imagine if once a year we closed a few streets, put the water department crews on floats, let kids paint the manhole covers, had concerts around the reservoirs. Gratitude can change everything. 12. Triclinium dining. The Romans didn't sit upright at tables like we do. They reclined on couches arranged in a careful U-shape around low tables. 9 guests was the perfect number, 3 per couch, everyone able to see everyone else's face. No awkward end seat, no one left out of the conversation. The left hand held food, the right hand gestured wildly while quoting Homer or complaining about taxes. Servants brought course after course on beautiful tiered stands called fercula, so no one had to pass anything awkwardly. Petronius, in the Satyricon, describes dinners that began in daylight and ended at dawn. 6, 7, 8 hours of eating, drinking, reading poetry, arguing about virtue, falling a little in love, falling out of love, making business deals, forgiving enemies. We eat in 45 minutes while checking our phones. Try it once. Move the coffee table, put cushions on the floor, light candles, serve 5 slow courses. You'll feel ridiculous for the first half hour, and then something ancient wakes up in the room. People talk differently when they're reclining. Come back and share your experience. 11. The Villa Rustica. This was the working farm that fed the empire and the soul. A modest but beautiful compound, owner's house looking over the courtyard, olive press, wine vats, bakery, dovecote, vegetable gardens, beehives, fish pond, everything in elegant proportion. Pliny the Younger describes his Tuscan villa like a friend, the way the light moved through the porticos, how he could hear the vines growing. These weren't mega estates. They were human scale, self-sufficient, and profitable enough to let the owner read, write, and think. We act like food comes from Amazon now. A Villa Rustica revival. Little cooperative farms on city edges, or even large suburban lots split into micro-estates. These could feed a family and give them poetry at the same time. 10. Hypocaust underfloor heating. A Roman invention from around 100 BC, perfected by a businessman named Sergius Orata, who got rich selling it. Hot air from a furnace circulated under raised floors on brick pillars, warming the rooms evenly. No smoke inside, no cold feet. Even modest apartment blocks in Ostia had it. Ordinary shopkeepers walked on warm mosaics in winter. We call radiant heating luxury now and charge a fortune for it. The Romans gave it to everyone. New building codes could require it tomorrow. Bare winter floors should feel like a human right. 9. The tabulae censoriae, the census tablets. Every 5 years, every citizen had to appear before the censors and declare their property, their family, and their moral character. It was public. You couldn't hide. If you lived wastefully or cruelly, you could be stripped of rank. It sounds harsh, but it created accountability. People behaved better when their reputation was on the line every half-decade. We could have gentle modern versions, public contribution dashboards showing hours volunteered, blood donated, trees planted, neighbors helped. Not to shame, but to celebrate. Societies that know who is generous keep their gentle strength. 8. Ostia Antica-style apartment buildings, insulae. Most Romans didn't live in domus villas. They lived in 3 to 6-story apartment blocks with shops on the ground floor, balconies dripping with flowers, shared courtyards, and rent controlled by law to about 2% of income. Archaeologists have found bakeries, bars, fooleries, shrines, even little gardens on rooftops. You knew everyone on your stairwell. The city felt like overlapping villages. We build luxury condos or soulless suburbs. We could build insulae again. Mid-rise, mixed-use, beautiful, dense, but human. Cities where children play in courtyards and old people watch from balconies. It worked for 1 million people. It would work for 10 million. 7. Mos Maiorum, the way of the ancestors. Not blind traditionalism, but a living conversation with the past. This is the standard our best people set. How do we measure up? Every generation re-examined it, kept what worked, discarded what didn't. Cato the Elder, Cicero, Augustus, they all appealed to mos maiorum when they wanted to raise the bar. Every family could have its own quiet mos maiorum, a little document or ritual where you ask, what do we stand for? Courage? Kindness? Craftsmanship? Curiosity? Write it down, read it together once a year. Let the ancestors speak, then speak back. 6. Pietas contracts for elder care. Roman law recognized contracts in which children formally promised to care for aging parents in exchange for inheritance. It wasn't cold, it was warm. It said, we are a chain, not a collection of individuals. The elder stayed in the home, told stories, helped raise grandchildren, kept the family memory alive. Loneliness was structurally impossible. We invented nursing homes instead. Imagine policy that rewarded multi-generational households, tax credits, zoning changes, shared courtyards again. The data already shows people live longer, happier lives when generations overlap. Rome just made it official. 5. Liberalia, the coming-of-age festival. Every March 17th, 16-year-old boys, and later girls too, put away the childish toga and received the pure white toga virilis in a public ceremony. The whole neighborhood came. There were honey cakes, processions, elders gave speeches, mentors were assigned, and yes, quite a lot of wine. It wasn't just a party, it was society saying, "We see you, we trust you, the Republic needs you now." We give kids a driver's license and anxiety. Imagine a real right. Financial literacy day, voter registration, a chosen mentor, a feast where elders tell true stories about what matters. One day that says, adulthood is a gift, not a trap. 4. The fercula. Those glorious spinning serving trays. Beautiful bronze or wooden stands with multiple tiers that turned silently so every dish could reach every guest without anyone standing up or reaching awkwardly. The host controlled the pace like a conductor. Marshall writes about dinners where the fercula kept arriving until guests begged for mercy. The spinning itself became theater. Bring them back to restaurants or homes. Watch how equality feels when no one is stuck passing the potatoes. 3. The atrium with impluvium. The literal and spiritual center of the house. An open skylight letting in light and rain, a shallow marble pool below catching the water, surrounded by ancestral masks watching over everything. When it rained, the sound of water on water filled the house. Light moved across the floor all day. It was a spiritually and mentally uplifting spot. Even modest homes had one. Modern architects call this biophilic design and charge extra. The Romans knew light, water, and memory make a house feel alive. A simple skylight over an indoor courtyard garden could bring it back today. 2. Lectio difficilior, the deliberate choice of the harder reading. When Roman, and later medieval, scribes copied important texts, they often preserved the more difficult, awkward phrasing because they knew easy readings are usually corruptions. Lectio difficilior potior, the harder reading is the stronger. They wanted you to wrestle with the text, not glide over it. Imagine if we published classic books again in beautiful, slightly challenging fonts. No cliff notes, wide margins for your own thoughts. Reading as slow, sacred work that changes you. The mind grows in the struggle. And number 1. The one I think about whenever I feel modern life is too fast, too isolated, too loud. The porticos. Everywhere in Rome, there were covered walking galleries, kilometers of them. Rain or shine, you could walk across the city under elegant colonnades, thinking, talking, meeting friends by accident. The porticos of Pompey, the porticos of Octavia, the 100 columns around the Forum. Places designed for the specific activity of walking and talking. Business was done there, philosophy was born there, friendships deepened, lovers met. The body moves, the mind opens. We tore most of them down for cars. What if we brought them back? Roofed walking paths connecting neighborhoods, lining office parks, wrapping schools, with benches every 50 meters, trees, fountains. People would walk more, think clearer, feel less alone. The data on walking meetings is already stunning. Creativity up 60%. Rome just made it beautiful and mandatory. So, which one calls to you most? The baths that heal loneliness? The slow dinners? The walking galleries? The idea that our cities could be built for conversation again? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you for walking this long porticos with me. And if you'd like to keep walking together, subscribe. Vale, friends. May your water always run clear, your floors stay warm beneath bare feet, your tables stay crowded with good friends, and may there always be a quiet porticos waiting when you need to walk and think, or better yet, when you need to walk and not be alone.